Today we will be brewing one of my favorite fall homebrewing recipes. Guaranteed to make you feel basic within seconds of sipping it. Strap in, Becky, because we're going to be making some pumpkin spice hard apple cider. Greensandmachines.com. Please respect the local laws of your municipality before producing or consuming alcohol. To brew pumpkin cider, you will need the following ingredients for a 5-gallon batch. You're going to need 5 gallons of apple juice, 4 cans of 15-ounce pumpkin, 4 cups of sugar, 4 tablespoons of cinnamon, and half a teaspoon of nutmeg. For the yeast, I recommend Ciphon SO4, and I'll explain why in a minute. So let's first talk about juice selection. You can use nearly any store-bought juice provided that sorbates have not been added to it. If you look on the ingredients list, you should see the words sorbates added or potassium sorbate. Typically, store-bought juice will have ascorbic acid to preserve the color of the juice. This acid is harmless as it is vitamin C. If you are sourcing juice from a farmer's market or local orchard, fantastic. Just be aware that the juice is likely unpasteurized, so there's a higher chance of the cider developing an infection with all the microbes in the juice. For the pumpkin, you will need to reach out and grab a few cans from a store. Be sure to grab decanned pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. We'll discuss more on how this is incorporated into the batch later. To bring up the alcohol by volume, we'll add in some sugar. Typically, apple juice alone will naturally finish at 5 to 6%. If we add sugar, we'll bump our cider up to 7.5 to 8% ABV. Cinnamon and nutmeg are the traditional pumpkin pie spices, so they are a must. For the yeast, I recommend using Ciphon SO4 to give a clean, fruit-forward finish. Combined with the pumpkin flavors, the high alcohol content is sufficiently masked. You are welcome to try any other yeast though when brewing this recipe. For special equipment, you'll need a 12-quart kettle minimum, a fermenter, I'm using a bucket with lid modified for an airlock, a spoon, a thermometer, and for bottling, you need around 40 empty bottles, bottle caps, a bottle capper, and sanitation supplies. I personally use Star San. You can find links to these products in the description of this video. Alright, let's start brewing. In the kettle on the stove, pour in 2 gallons of apple juice. Start heating this to a boil. Add in the sugar and spices.
This will raise our ABV quite a bit. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and yeast nutrients. Now you can't see it from here, but I'll bring the camera over in a second. Good. There we go. Next we're going to add in the pumpkin.
Now carefully add in the canned pumpkin to the mixture. Do your best to avoid splashing when scooping it out of the cans. The pumpkin is very dense. With the pumpkin, sugar, and spices added, stir the ingredients in as best as possible. Your kitchen will start to smell strongly of pumpkin pie at this point, and it will smell awesome. The pumpkin won't dissolve in the mixture and will stay suspended, and this is to be expected. Allow the mixture to come to a boil, and boil for about 30 minutes, stirring often. While the pot is boiling on the stove, prepare the fermenter by sanitizing it with the Star San. Add in 2.5 gallons of apple juice to the fermenter.
This bucket is nice because it's got the volume indicators.
You'll want to save half a gallon of juice by refrigerating it. You'll need this for bottling later. With the boil complete, remove the wort from the stove. Allow it to cool for a bit, no more than 70 degrees Celsius. With that cooled, carefully pour the contents of the kettle into the fermenter, pumpkin and all. It will be hot, but the remaining juice will help cool down the batch. Stir together the contents of the fermenter. Now once the temperature drops below 40 degrees, you can pitch the yeast. With the yeast pitch, move your fermenter to a cool, dark area and install the airlock. You can allow the cider to ferment a week. The first day or so you'll notice that the pumpkin will settle out to the bottom and form a very visible layer. This is normal. Now at this point in the video, if you're enjoying this recipe, be sure to hit that like button and to subscribe to Greens and Machines to be informed when more videos like this go live. After a week, set up the secondary fermenter and siphon the cider off of the pumpkin layer on the bottom. The pumpkin layer will resemble sludge, but it should be fluid enough to pour out once you're done racking. With the cider transferred to the secondary fermenter, reseal the fermenter and allow the liquid to settle for an additional week. You may notice that the cider might be a bit cloudy at this point. This is also to be expected as boiling the apple juice causes the haze to form. It is harmless, so don't be afraid of drinking it. With the second week up, and now it is time to bottle. Before racking the pumpkin cider into the sanitized bottling bucket, add in the half gallon of apple juice you saved from earlier. The sugar in this juice will act as priming sugar to carbonate the cider, and it's in the perfect amount. Transfer the cider to the bottling bucket and allow that to equilibrate for 30 minutes before filling and capping the bottles. After about 10 days, the cider should be carbonated and ready to drink. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you happen to give this recipe a try, leave a comment below on how your batch turned out. Give this video a like and be sure to subscribe to Greens and Machines for more videos like this one. Be sure to check out our other videos after watching this. We'll see you in the next one.